Hey guys, welcome to Simple Cooking at Home. Today's dish that we're cooking is called Panko fried pompano. Hope you guys enjoy.
So we have a beautiful whole pompano right here. Pompano comes out of off the Florida coast generally, and it's a beautiful white flesh fish, good amount of fat, and just a nice clean taste. So you could get your pompano from any fish market. We got this from Ranch 99. We live in the Bay Area, and Ranch 99 is a good source for us for fresh fish. You can see this fish has already been scaled. The scales here are actually really small. So when you scale it, you do have to scrape it really good and scrape on top of the tail and on the bottom of the tail. There are quite a few scales there that you don't want to eat. And then make sure you get like the belly side as well. And the belly side, the scales are quite pronounced there. So you want to scale that before you cut into it. And you know, let's start. First, we're going to start by opening up the fish and then getting rid of the gills. So we'll start opening the fish by going from this center line all the way up to here. Then we're going to make a cut here, cutting the gills off, and then we're going to pull the gills out along with all of the innards. So I'm going to make an incision here. I'm going to go all the way up to the top there. And this incision is just going to get into the belly over there. And this opens up the belly quite a bit. Open that up, and then we can see in here the innards. We're going to lift this up a little bit and then cut right at the base of where the gills attaches to that part there. We're just going to break the gills apart from there, and that's basically it. So we have the head apart from the gills, and we have this opened up all the way. So now we're gonna just open that up all the way, and then the gills should come off. Got to get underneath the gills here. A little incision there, so you could get underneath the gills. And then you're just going to rip that out, and along with all of the innards of the fish. This gets discarded. And now you have the bladder, which we want to take off. A little bit of blood that we want to thoroughly clean off. We don't want any blood in the fish by the time we're done. So just going to rip off the bladder. Now we're going to open up the bloodline here. So that bloodline, we're just going to do a couple of cuts in there to open it up, and now we're going to clean it with running water. Now it's important to get the bloodline out because the bloodline will make the meat bitter. So if you have meat touching the bloodline and you're eating the bloodline along with the meat, you will taste a very strong bitterness and unpleasant fishy odor. So we don't want that in our preparation. So any remaining veins in here for the bloodline you want to remove. And you're going to want to take a brush similar to this one to brush out any blood that remains in there. going to run water in there just to make sure everything's cleaned out. Any remaining veins or dangly parts, I'm going to want to pull it out. And once you're finished, you want the inside looking nice and clean like that. No like blood traces remaining, just nice clean fish. We'll clean off our cutting board a little bit. Clean off our knife. Now we're gonna fillet this fish into 3 parts. We're gonna start by cutting off the head. Now, there are some videos that will show you for pompano, you should cut around this way, all the way around to get the meat out from here. Definitely an excellent way to like cut the pompano head off, but we're gonna do this more of a traditional Japanese way, and we're gonna take the head off from right about diagonal here all the way to right underneath these fins here. So we're gonna come underneath there, just gonna come in, sever that bone there, and just cut that off right there. So you have a nice triangle. You get most of the meat here. There's still a little bit of meat left in here, but save this. This is really good for like fish stock and you know, anything else you want to cook with it. So some fishmongers will say cutting it like this makes it better. Now you will preserve the comma, and this is really good eating here. So you could take this, split it in half, just like that. Now you have 2 commas. You have the head for like fish stock, and you can toss that into a pot and get that ready. So now you're left with this. Now we're gonna fillet this. I'm gonna start by using as much of the knife as possible here, and we're just gonna fillet it from this bone, and we're gonna make sure that we get right on top of that bone as close as possible, and basically that's gonna look something like this. So we're gonna want to be right on top of that bone, and we're gonna want to scrape right on top of that bone, the meat there, and you should be able to hear a little bit of a clicking sound from the tip of your knife hitting the bone. And over here, that's where you have the bone. And you're gonna want to follow along the spine there. We're gonna flip this around. We're gonna go right on top of that fin right there, all the way to the front. So we're gonna want to take this part of our knife, slight angle, and we're just gonna start that cut. Now a little bit of pressure on top of here going this way will help open that up a little bit so that you can follow your knife along that spine. and then basically get the meat off. Get a nice fillet. So once you're through, you can go through right on top of the meat on both sides, right on top of the spinal cord, and just pierce that over there. Hold the tail, and you, with that knife angled slightly down, firmly holding the tail, you're going to want to break the rib bones. This is a little bit slippery. You want to break the rib bones and just come all the way through just like that. And then come out like that. Now we have a nice fillet here. Didn't leave much meat behind, so this is very clean. Now we want to do the same with the other side. Let's keep that over there for now. I'm going to hold this over here. We're going to want to come on this side using like as much of the knife as possible. Flip it around. Similarly. Now we're going to want to get underneath that bone here. Hold on to the tail. Knife angles slightly down. Get through that rib bone over there. Get through that. There you go. Very little meat left. We have two nice fillets here. Now let's just break this up. And this can go into a stock for a nice Pompano miso soup, which we will be doing tonight. There you go. That's one. We're going to take off the ribs now. Now the ribs connect with some pin bones here, and what you want to do is separate the ribs from the pin bones. So I usually have my knife pointing out like that. Just hold on, get a little grip here. And we're just going to want to like separate the ribs from the pin bones. And then once it's separated, we can kind of just scoop out. You're going to want the knife kind of coming around like this to like scoop out those like rib bones. There you go. So those rib bones are out. The only thing left are the pin bones. And what we're going to do is we're going to go right along the pin bones, and you can feel where the pin bones are. Just run your finger down here, and you'll feel like a whole bunch of pin bones right along that line there. So I'm going a little bit over to the right of the line where the pin bones are, and I'm going to separate this. Now I'm going to go a little bit to the left of where the pin bones are. And I'm going to just isolate the pin bones. So here are the pin bones. Don't throw that away. There's a little bit of a bone left over here. Just going to take that out. This is all still good for like stock as well. So now that we got this side separated, you could take out the skin, but for this purpose, pompano skin are actually delicious. It has a lot of like nutrition in it as well. So we're gonna leave the skin on. So that separates the ribs from the pin bones on this side. And we're just gonna scoop away the rib bones. Right there, just like that. Over here, the pin bones are all right along this line. I'm a righty, so I'm gonna do the right side first. This takes out this side. There you go. Pin bones out. So now we have two fillets. Skin is still on. I leave the skin on. Skin is delicious. And we're going to portion this. And I like to get these in like bite-sized portions. Tail's a little bit thinner, so I cut the tail a little bit longer. And everything else, I'm going to put it into like even portions. So to me, that's a nice bite size. This is the loin side. Then I'm going to do the belly side next. And transfer this to a plate. Now I'm going to do the belly side. Belly side's a little bit wider, so I'm just going to cut it accordingly. Save as much of the belly side as you can because this part here, very fatty, very, very delicious. The fat on these golden pompanos are very good, very delicious. So with all the fish done, filleted, cut into pieces, we're going to now bread the fish, and we're gonna do it via three parts. We're gonna first dredge it in cornstarch. Cornstarch will stick to the protein. Then I'm gonna dredge it in egg. The egg will create stickiness so that the panko can stick to the egg. So flour sticks to the meat, eggs sticks to the flour, and then panko sticks to the eggs. That's the way it's generally done, and that's the way to get nicest, crispiest texture. So here we have the cornstarch. Here we have the eggs, and here we have the panko. And we're gonna do that process now. So first the eggs. First the cornstarch, then the eggs, and coat it in the eggs. Then I'm going to put it in the panko. We're going to cover it with the panko. We're going to press it down a little bit so that it gets a nice coating of panko. After it's done, set it aside, move on to the next one.
I forgot to record the beginning of the frying process, but what we did is that we set the oil temperature to about 350 degrees, which would be around medium to high for any gas burner or stovetop. And we try to keep the oil temperature at about consistent 350 degrees. And we will fry each side of the fish for 2 minutes to make it crispy on the outside and nice and juicy on the inside. After putting in, we're just going to do a quick speed up on the frying process for each side. After the first side has fried for about 2 minutes, you want to try and flip each of the pieces as fast and as carefully as you can. Try not to burn yourself in order to give each of them about the same cooking time and to be about consistent as you can with flavor and texture. After the second side has fried for 2 minutes, you want to take your fish out of the oil and set it onto a drying rack to let it cool down and for the excess oil to drip off to prevent your fish from getting soggy. This is our finished dish, our Panko fried golden pompano, and I hope you guys enjoy.